Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to tackle a super frustrating financial puzzle. Why is it that getting a raise often doesn't actually make you feel any richer? We're going to break down the sneaky trap that keeps so many of us stuck and, way more importantly, give you a simple system to finally escape it.
Okay, let's just dive right in. I want to walk you through a scenario, and I want you to think about whether this sounds familiar, because for a lot of us, this is a cycle we know all too well.
So the email hits your inbox, or maybe your boss pulls you aside with the good news. And there's that immediate rush, right? That feeling of pure excitement and possibility. You're already mentally spending that extra cash.
And for that first paycheck, maybe the second, the pressure just lifts. It feels amazing. You might treat yourself to a nice meal out, finally buy that thing you've been eyeing, and all that financial stress just seems to melt away.
But then, something kind of weird happens. A month goes by, maybe two, and almost without you noticing, you're looking at your bank account with that same old stress, wondering, hey, where did all that extra money go? It's almost like the raise never even happened.
So look, this isn't just you having bad luck or being bad with money. It's a real phenomenon, a hidden force that I call the two-week rich trap, and it keeps millions of people feeling financially stuck. But today, we're going to give you the system to break that cycle for good.
Okay, so what is this thing really? Well, the official name for it is lifestyle inflation. It's just this simple, almost invisible tendency for our spending to creep up right alongside our income. And honestly, it's the #1 reason why so many hardworking people feel like they're just running on a financial treadmill, never really getting ahead.
And here's the bottom line. Without a conscious plan, getting more money just leads to more expensive habits. You end up with the exact same financial stress, you just have nicer stuff around you while you're stressed out. You're broke, but at a higher level.
All right, so how does this actually happen? Because it is so subtle. It all comes down to how our brains are wired to adapt. Let me give you an example that has nothing to do with money. Think about upgrading your phone. Your old one worked just fine, right? But the new one, it's a little faster. The screen's a little nicer. And for a week, it feels like a total luxury. But then, really fast, it just becomes your new normal.
And that right there, that's exactly what happens with our money. Each of these little upgrades, a slightly nicer car payment, ordering delivery one more night a week, adding a couple new subscriptions, they all feel so small and totally justified in the moment. But when you add them all up, they create this brand new, way more expensive normal that completely eats your raise before you ever get a chance to build wealth with it.
Now for the good news. We are not the first people to deal with this, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can fight back against this lifestyle creep by leaning on some seriously powerful, timeless wisdom from people who've actually figured this out.
This first idea is a total game changer. It comes from the classic book, The Millionaire Next Door. And it's this: wealth is what you don't spend. The book found that most real millionaires don't look flashy. They avoid the fancy cars and giant houses because they get a quiet truth. Wealth isn't about looking successful, it's about actually becoming successful. And that changes everything.
And then you've got the legendary investor Jack Bogle, who adds this other crucial piece of the puzzle. His famous advice was simply, stay the course. See, he knew that the biggest enemy to building wealth isn't a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of consistency. And what does lifestyle inflation do? It absolutely destroys your consistency. It tempts you to keep moving the goalposts with every little bit of extra income.
Okay, let's make this really concrete. I want to show you a quick math moment that illustrates the incredible power of one single decision. So imagine you get a nice raise, an extra $500 a month, after tax. You are now standing at a fork in the road, with two very different futures ahead of you.
So here are your two paths. Scenario A is the default trap, right? That's lifestyle inflation. The extra $500 just kind of gets absorbed into your life, and poof, it's gone. But scenario B is where you use a simple, intentional system we're going to call the raise rule. You decide ahead of time exactly where that money's going to go. And the result of that one decision, are you ready for this? By following the raise rule and consistently investing just $350 of that raise every month, you could end up with over $320,000 after 25 years. That's insane. It's from the exact same raise. The only difference was having a rule.
Okay, so theory is great, but how do we actually do this? Talk is cheap. So, here is a super simple 7-day challenge designed to build this into an automatic habit.
All right, let's walk through this. Day 1, easy. Just write down your raise number, the actual after-tax amount. Day 2, create your split. We recommend 70% for your future, 30% for guilt-free fun right now. Day 3 is the magic step. You automate that transfer for the day after payday. This takes willpower totally out of the equation.
Day 4, commit to a 6-month delay rule for any big upgrades. This protects you from impulse decisions. Day 5 is about awareness. List your personal new normal risks. And day 6, you proactively pick one of those upgrades and just decide, nope, not going to do it. You see? Each step builds on the last to create a powerful system.
And please remember this. On day 7, you celebrate. This system is not about depriving yourself. It's the opposite. It's about making your wealth building so automatic that you can take that fun money and enjoy it completely 100% guilt-free because you know your future is already being taken care of.
Now, as you start to do this, your brain is probably going to fight back a little bit. It's going to throw up some of those common mental roadblocks, those little justifications that try to pull you back into old habits. It's totally normal. Here are the 3 most common traps you'll face. First, that I deserve this feeling. The fix? Remind yourself you deserve long-term wealth even more. Split the raise. Second, the temptation to immediately jump into a bigger car payment or apartment. The fix is that 6-month delay rule. And finally, the biggest trap of all, relying on willpower. The fix is automation. Set it up once and let the system do the heavy lifting for you.
So if you take just one thing away from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Your salary alone will not make you wealthy. Raises don't build wealth. Rules do. It's the system you have for your money that builds real, lasting wealth.
So use the raise rule as your simple, powerful starting point. 70% of every single raise, every bonus, every bit of side income goes toward your future. The other 30%, that's for you to enjoy right now with no questions asked.
To wrap this up, I'll leave you with a question to really think about. Be honest with yourself. When you look at your own spending, what is the single biggest area where your new normal has crept up and is costing you the most? Is it the car payment? Is it your rent? How often you get food delivered? Or is it the death by 1,000 cuts from all those subscriptions? Just identifying it is the first giant step to fixing it.